June 2025, Iran. In a normal night, millions of Iranians were sitting in their living rooms, watching the national volleyball match live on TV. Suddenly, the game stopped, the screen went black, and a shaken news anchor appeared, saying, "We have been attacked by Israel. Many of the nuclear hierarchies and civilians have died. The supreme leader will speak tonight." But this wasn't just an ordinary attack. It was a deadly missile ping-pong, with many untold secrets hidden beneath the surface.
Tonight's bombardment
by Israel
against Iran
is continuing.
This is the 3D documentary on the untold secrets of this war. How Israel infiltrated Iran from within. How secret drone bases were built by Israeli spies right under people's noses. How cyberattacks shut down banks and power grids. How Iranian missiles bypassed the Iron Dome. And more. Many believe this war started overnight, that Israel just decided to attack Iran. Iran hit back, and America intervened. But the reality is more complex. For decades, Iran and Israel have been in conflict. Every year, on Codes Day and other occasions, people gather in the streets chanting, "Death to Israel, death to USA," and the government does not recognize Israel as a country. After the Islamic Revolution in 1979, Iran adopted a foreign policy to oppose Israel as an occupier of Palestine. Israel, in return, sees Iran not only as a threat to its existence, but also as the mastermind behind proxy militias like Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis that surround its borders. One of the most dangerous points in this conflict has been Iran's nuclear program.
Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons.
Iran claims its nuclear development is for peaceful purposes, energy, and medicine. Israel claims Iran is secretly building a nuclear bomb that will threaten its existence. The United States pretends to be in between, sometimes negotiating, sometimes sanctioning, and sometimes helping Israel in cyber attacks like Stuxnet, Flame, and Duke, which targeted Iran's nuclear facilities. During Ahmadinejad's presidency, these cyber weapons caused real damage, destroying nearly 1,000 centrifuges at the Natanz plant and exposing Iran's vulnerabilities in a new kind of warfare. Iran's leadership openly admitted these attacks, calling them acts of sabotage and cyber terrorism. In the weeks leading up to the war in 2025, Iran and the United States were actually at the negotiation table. Former President Donald Trump had returned to office and was trying to broker a new nuclear deal with Iran to limit uranium enrichment, but Israel was deeply worried. They believed any deal with Iran would only buy Tehran time to finish a nuclear weapon. Israeli intelligence warned that Iran was days away from completing a new generation of centrifuges underground. Then, before any agreement could be signed, the war erupted. On June 13, 2025, Israel launched its first wave of attacks on Iran's nuclear sites. And everything started from here. The attacks were sudden, and the world was shocked. Nobody expected Israel to strike while diplomacy was alive and the negotiations were ongoing. On the first day, Israel targeted multiple sites: the Natanz enrichment facility in Isfahan province, parts of the Fordo underground facility near Qom, missile storage depots in Semnan and southern Tehran's outskirts. But beyond military sites, Israel also targeted key figures within Iran's nuclear and defense hierarchy. Iranian officials reported at least 137 killed on the first day, including civilians. The news spread like wildfire across Iranian and global media.
Tonight's bombardment
by Israel
against Iran
is continuing.
On Iranian state TV, somber anchors announced, "We have been attacked. Multiple martyrdoms reported, including senior officers. Supreme leader to speak tonight." That evening, Supreme Leader appeared on live television, looking stern and composed. He said,
"The enemy has committed the wrongest and most foolish act possible. Their crime will not go unanswered. They will regret this aggression deeply."
That night, Iran launched its first wave of retaliation. Over 130 Shahed and Kaman drones were launched from western, central, and southern bases. Targets included Israeli air bases in Negev, military intelligence sites near Tel Aviv, and ammunition depots in northern Israel. The tactic was drone swarming to saturate Iron Dome defenses and force them to run out of interceptors. The second day, Israel continued bombing Iranian missile storage facilities and radar systems. Iran launched ballistic missiles towards Dimona and air bases, with some intercepted and some causing damage to logistic facilities and barracks. On the third day, both sides escalated cyberattacks. Iranian banks and power grids faced outages. In Israel, traffic lights and some communication networks were disabled for hours by Iranian hackers. Amidst this chaos, shocking reports emerged. Some drones that hit Tehran itself were not launched from Israel or Iraqi bases, but from inside Iranian territory. Intelligence officials claimed these were operated by Israeli spies or cloned agents within Iran who had built small underground drone launch sites in civilian industrial areas to avoid detection. Although it seems the majority of them have been caught immediately, the question is that, how did they infiltrate so deeply? Israeli intelligence had long invested in cloning spy networks deep within Iranian cities, embedding agents disguised as ordinary citizens, engineers, and businessmen. These operatives were not just gathering information, they were actively building secret drone manufacturing and launching facilities within Iran. Some of the drones that struck Tehran and other cities during the opening days of the war were launched from these covert sites inside Iran, bypassing Iran's air defenses and confusing military analysts worldwide. Iranian authorities arrested dozens of suspected operatives, some of whom were Iranian citizens recruited or blackmailed by Mossad. Others were foreign nationals living in Iran under false identities. The presence of these spies shattered a sense of security within Iran. It revealed how deeply Israeli intelligence had penetrated Iranian society, not just at the government level, but among ordinary people. As the war continued, Iran intensified efforts to root out these networks, but the damage had already been done. Over days 5 and 6, the conflict quickly escalated into a deadly missile exchange, and both sides unleashed their advanced arsenals. This intense exchange revealed new technologies and tactics on both sides. Iran's use of swarming drone tactics overwhelmed Israeli defenses at times, while Israel employed electronic warfare and cyberattacks to disrupt Iran's communications and missile guidance systems. Israeli drones hit multiple locations in Iran, including the national radio and television headquarters in Tehran, while the news was live. Regional powers also voiced their positions strongly. Pakistan warned the world that if the United States intervened militarily, it would consider using its own nuclear arsenal in defense of its interests and regional stability. At the same time, discussions of regime change intensified in Iran and abroad. Many Iranians who opposed the Islamic Republic viewed the chaos of war as an opportunity for themselves. Some rallied around Reza Pahlavi, the son of the last Shah, seeing him as a unifying alternative. Public figures amplified this vision on social media and international news. But as calls for change grew louder, so did fears of what might come next. As the conflict escalated rapidly, the United States made a decisive move to intervene directly. On June 22, 2025, under Operation Midnight Hammer, the U.S. launched precision strikes on Iran's nuclear sites using B-2 stealth bombers and Tomahawk cruise missiles, significantly degrading Iran's coordination capabilities and infrastructure defenses. Iran later revealed the facilities were nearly empty at the time, suggesting advance warnings. In response, Iran intensified asymmetric tactics, deploying more ballistic missiles and drone swarms, targeting U.S. bases in Iraq, Syria, and naval vessels in the Gulf, while orchestrating a coordinated response through proxy networks after notifying the U.S. via back channels. Russia and China condemned the U.S. intervention, urging immediate de-escalation, and although the strikes changed the conflict's scope, neither side achieved a clear victory. What is left is around 2,300 civilians killed on both sides.